Okay guys, so this is kind of a part 2 on the 6x8, 6x8 tarp configurations from Tent Smiths that's sold through Self-Reliance Outfitters. So if you're looking for these tarps, you go to Self-Reliance Outfitters and that's where they'll be found, but they're made by Tent Smiths. And again, it's 2 6x8 tarps that can be connected together. They have joining flaps. If you look at that video, you'll see what I mean. But it's designed that way to be used as separate pieces as well. And there's certain things you can do with this because of the way it's set up. And one of those things I'm going to show you today is called the Cowboy Bedroll. And this makes a perfect Cowboy bedroll. And then if you're carrying both tarps, not that you have to, because you can always just sleep right on the ground with a bedroll in fair weather, obviously right beside a campfire. But if you chose to have 2 tarps, you could set one of them up in a bedroll configuration, and the other one is your cover element. We'll talk about that in the woods here in a few minutes. First, I want to show you how I put this bedroll together. So the first thing I did was I just laid this 6x8 tarp out with the 6 foot width and the 8 foot length. Now, I took a blanket. Well, first of all, I took a sleeping pad. This is just a yoga pad that I use that works pretty well. And I put it on the bottom, right in the center. And then I folded my Pathfinder blanket 3 ways, just like this, kind of in an envelope. So you can see it's folded over here and then over here, and put it in the middle. Now, here's where the stuff comes in. When you fold this flap over, what's going to happen is you're going to expose these tie-out points that are at that 2 foot mark, right here, all the way along the side of this. So now when you fold the other half over, you're going to have tie-outs that meet this. And you can then toggle those up to make this an enclosed bedroll. And then when it opens up, it'll have double flaps, double wool blanket flaps, and you'll have like 5 layers on top of you and that pad on the bottom. And then of course you can put leaf litter on the ground as well for insulation from conduction. But this will give you a good manageable bedroll that you can carry, made from this 6x8 tarp. So now we'll take the other side of this and we'll fold it over. And as you can see, as we bring it over, it's going to match up with these points. And that's where that extra 2 foot overlap comes into play. And it's very good because of that, because now we not only have something we can connect 2 tarps together with overlap for a larger shelter, we also have something we can use as a complete bedroll and tie it together as well. Now on the bottom side of this bedroll, you've got an area that you can overlap this and meet here, which forms a pocket on this end. And the reason for that is it closes in the bottom. You don't need 8 foot in length. So even if you fold it up a foot, you still got 7 foot in length there. And what you can do here is you can take this outside tie out and you can push it through here. And you should be able to take this and pull it up. This may take a little bit of finagling to do this, but you can put this through all 3 of these, just like this. And get yourself a stick and work it in there. Toggling stick to work in there. Just like that. Work that dude through. And now you've got that connected here and it's folded here. So you're in pretty good shape and you've got a pocket here that you can put things that you might need once you unroll your bedroll. You could put, you know, some kind of a nightlight in here, some kind of a lantern or candle set up in here, a spare pair of socks, a nightshirt, a nightcap, things like that can all go in here and get rolled up in your bedroll. And then we just start rolling this bedroll up from the bottom once we toggle the other points together. Now, generally speaking, I'll toggle the fold. I'll toggle up 1. I may put a toggle in here just as a keeper up at this last one before the top, but I like to have a large flap here that I can open up 3 ways. So you open that side, open this side, and then you open this, and you open this to get inside this thing. So now I have double layers of wool, double layers of oilcloth over top of me when I get inside this sleep system. And my pad starts right here where my head's going to be. Now we get ready to roll this up. I generally will take this top flap and roll it over a little bit just to give myself waterproofing there, and I'll roll from the bottom up. Now, depending on how I'm going to carry this bedroll, if I'm going to carry this thing in shoulder fashion or in backpack fashion, one of the two, I would put a doubled up piece of rope in here, and I would begin to roll this up around it just like this, keeping everything as neat and tidy as possible going around, just like this. If these toggles are loose, get bigger toggle. Make them so they're not loose. This is just a good example of how to set this up. Tuck all this down inside. And this final flap over right here, where this comes together, is generally where I'll put something like an axe if I'm carrying one, or a bedroll cook set of some kind. I'll put that inside that last fold, because this may be the only thing I need to carry other than a haversack at that point. And then I'm going to take 2 pieces of cordage that I have tied bowline knots in, and I've left myself a long tail on that bowline on purpose. And the reason I do that is so that I can come in here and wrench this thing down really hard, just like this, and come all the way around again and catch that tail and tie a square knot in that tail. So a square knot, a loop right here, it's got a bowline knot in it, gives me that ability to wrench that thing down tight. And I can do the same thing on this other side. Now, once I've got that done, I'll just creep this loop up here just like this. And this loop is at the bottom where my toggles are at. I'll get this to the right dimension for a shoulder strap or a double strap for a backpack. And I'll just come in here and tie it off with a 1/2 inch. Just like that. It's real simple to carry it that way. And I'm ready. One of the things I wanted to show you on this tarp is how I connect this ridge line on the outside. It's pretty simple. All you do is take your toggle, put it through the back side, just like this, and then fold it underneath, just like this, and shove it forward. That gives you a connection to an outside line. You don't have to worry about drip lines that way, and you can connect all of the connections down the tarp that way, and then use the prusik on the ends to stretch it out. Then your complete ridge line is on the outside of your shelter at that point. All right, so here's our bedroll inside the other half of our 6x8, or the other 6x8 tarp, excuse me. We've got one 6x8 set up as our shelter, and I've just got the flap tucked behind right now, which would be kind of an awning. You can see down here at this end. And then the bedroll in there on top of the leaf pile, and unfurled, ready to sleep in. It makes a really good shelter. And then you can obviously drop this out and guy it out, or you could bring this all the way to the ground if you want to trap more heat in there, and still have yourself just 2 foot on the ground and then the rest on a slant. Give yourself a comfortable night's sleep.